Hey guys, it's Fred and Sheila McCoy. We are at the Hatfield McCoy Museum with all these pictures and documents. Sheila's behind the camera.
Hi guys, hope you're having a great day.
All the information on the museum and other things is located at fredmccoy.com. Go to the top of the page, click on whatever you want. This is going to be a segment of keeping it real. Keeping it real is where we've heard something, seen something, somebody told us something, we watched something on YouTube or TikTok, and it's not correct or it's not true. And we're here to correct it for you, or at least give you the other side and let you think about what we're saying.
Let them decide, okay.
Now, a while back, we were watching a video, and a gentleman, and I don't want to get into this is not to really get in a peeing contest with somebody. It's really not.
Right.
It's just where we correct things. And once again, we've asked, if we say something wrong or you see something wrong, correct us. We can take it. We want the truth. We want it to be known. Anyway, we seen where this gentleman said, he was showing Devil Ance's horse and stuff, and then he was talking about directly over here was the Hatfield Hideout. And that's where Devil Ance is now. And that's just, we did a short video on this a while back, but it's simply not so. This is when Devil Ance was actually in Charleston, West Virginia. He had to go there for court.
Okay.
In fact, I think the same day that he's in the newspaper there for court, Black Bart is in the newspaper for something. They're in the same newspaper together. In fact,
Okay.
Devil Ance was in one newspaper one time with Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper's on one side and Devil Ance Hatfield on the other side. But we've got that in here somewhere. I'm sure we'll do a story eventually. But anyway, he was in Charleston, West Virginia, and this is when he was going through town. And if you'll notice there, that's a sidewalk on both sides, coming up and going down the other street.
Yeah.
That is not, I would stake my life on it. Very few things a person would do that with, but that is not Devil Ance Hatfield's hideout. Now, we've got a couple of photos to show you here, and I'll try to let her get them in there. Okay. T.C. Crawford described Devil Ance's fort, as he called it, as big, thick timbers, complete timbers with holes in between the timbers that they could put a rifle through to shoot through. And so what we're thinking is, we've had these pictures for years, and this picture here was supposedly the first fort.
Okay.
What he called a fort. When people hears of a fort, you're thinking of something big, things around. This was more of a stockade or something like that, where he was he could just get in there and feel safe. But here's the second picture, and these photos came from Stephen Hatfield years ago.
Okay.
And Stephen seems to think, he's like us, he had no proof of it, but Stephen's thoughts were that this cabin is one side or the front of this cabin. Now, we know, or this fort, so-called fort, we know this one here was on Devil Ance's property, because this is Devil Ance out front, sitting on the front of it.
Yep.
This is it. Now, if you'll study it, and you'll look at the top of this one, if you was to remove the roof off of that picture,
Okay.
it would come up to about right here at the top of this window.
Okay.
I don't know if she can close in or see. Can you see the 4-inch or 6-inch chalk in there where they've, looks like there's been something done?
Yeah. I see
it looks
that.
like that part, the upper part, has been added on.
Yeah.
And of course, probably the windows added. And so through the years, we know that that's definitely Devil Ance's. And you know, on T.C. Crawford's own description, T.C. Crawford was there in 1888. He was in Island Creek. He was at the home place. And even T.C. Crawford described the fort as being made of huge timbers with a single door and solid oak 12-inch thick, with gun mounts located between the logs. The Hatfields built the so-called fort shortly after moving to Sarah Ann to protect them from bounty hunters, detectives, and posses. The image of Devil Ance, once located Main Creek, Island Creek in Logan County, using timbers from Ance's property. I thought it said here somewhere, T.C. Crawford
Maybe on
said
that one.
in his book, ants led the men to the stream, the creek, to wash up before dinner. He also led us up to the fort, which was down the creek about a quarter of a mile. And it was built from, and he starts again with the 12-inch logs. Now, out in front of Devil Ance's house, where you know it to be now, okay, thank you. There's Devil Ance's house. Some people calls that a moat. A moat is something that surrounds your property back in the old days. And, a moat went completely around. They had alligators or whatever in it to keep everybody away, and it was too deep to swim and so forth. That's not a moat. That's simply a barrier built because that creek curves around, and they put those rocks there in order to keep the water when the creek got up from washing the bank out.
Okay.
It can't be a moat. You got a hillside on the back of the house.
Right.
There's no island. It's only in the front of the house, and it's not for security because you can drop off the creek and walk right up the other side. It's nothing. But T.C. Crawford says that Devil Ants walked them from the front of the house to the creek where they all washed up their hands. Said they usually just used the creek. He said, but they had a little pan out there for him and John B. Floyd so they could, and a little towel to dry with. But he said from where they washed their hands at in front of the house, that the fort was located on down from the house about a quarter of a mile. Now, there's been a fella that stands in front of that property there, and he looks across the creek, and he says over there is where the fort was.
Yeah, and who's,
Well, I don't know. Devil Ants may have had two forts. I don't want to call somebody, I don't know.
right,
I think Stephen would have told us that if that was true, because we went all over this area with Stephen years ago. And either way, we know that is not the fort. That's
Right.
in Charleston, West Virginia. We know that's not a moat. That's a creek barrier. And we know that at least this one right here is what Devil Ants once referred to probably as his fort. But now remember, when T.C. Crawford was there, he had no windows in it. So this must have been years later when he put the windows, and what we're thinking and what Stephen was thinking, that it was already there. Why not just take the roof off? And like he pointed out, if you'll look here at the barrier, if it's a better picture, you
Yeah.
can see there's a gap there. And it looks like at one time, those logs were set on top and they used a filler to make the gap in. It's Fred and Sheila McCoy. This was another segment of Keeping It Real. Let me, get out of here.
Hi guys.
Sheila's got something she wants to say.
Please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you all.